In this video, we're going to look at drawing quadratic graphs. So what we're going to do for a question like this is we've got a table of values and we're going to work out what the value of y is when x is minus 1, when x is 2, when x is 4, and then plot our graph on the grid here. So what we need to remember is be careful when we substitute. So when we substitute, we always use a bracket. So I'm going to say when x equals to minus 1, put y here, equals to minus 1 in brackets squared minus 4 times minus 1 plus 2. Now just a matter of caution here. If you didn't use brackets, and for example, if you used a calculator and done minus 1 squared, it would still give you minus 1, which is incorrect. The brackets means you do minus 1 times minus 1, and you know that a minus times a minus is a positive. So minus 1 all squared must be positive 1. So you're going to do 1, because minus 1 squared is 1. Minus times a minus is a plus. 4 times 1 is 4. And then we get a plus 2. So now we get 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So we get 7 here. Let's do the same for x equals 2. So when x equals 2, we get y equals, again I'm going to use brackets just for completeness here, 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 2. So we get y equals to 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, so it's minus 8, and then we get plus 2, so that gives me minus 2. Then, so we've got minus 2 here. Then we're going to do when x equals 4. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. So when x equals 4, we get y equals to 4 squared minus 4 times 4 plus 2. So we can say, well, 4 squared is 16, 4 times 4 is 16, and we get 2. 16 minus 16 is 0, and we just end up with 2. So the last value we get on the values that need to be worked out is 2. So we get minus 1 for x and y for 7. When x is 2, y is minus 2, and the last value we had to work out when x equals 4 was y equals 2. Now what we're going to do is plot the graph. So we go across to minus 1 and we go up to positive 7. So we can draw a nice cross here. Then 0 and 2. Then 1 and minus 1. Then we're going to plot 2 and minus 2. Then we're going to plot 3 and minus 1. Then we're going to plot 4 and 2. And then we're going to plot 5 and 7. So what we get is a nice U shape, or in maths we call it a parabola. Okay, and if it's a positive quadratic graph, we should always get that. So we draw it freehand, like so, through the points here. It must go through all the points. And this is our quadratic graph, and we can draw an arrow here and label it as y equals to x squared minus 4x plus 2. Here's a question for you to try. You can pause the video, and when you're done, I will go through my work solution. Okay, welcome back. So what we have here is the following. So we've got y equals x squared plus x, and we need to find values of -1, 1, and 3 of x, and their corresponding values of y. So let's plug in -1. So when x equals to -1, we can say y equals, don't forget you must use brackets, -1 squared plus -1, or we can say -1 squared, -1 times -1 is +1, then we've got a -1, so we get 0. So we get 0 here. So now we can say when x equals 1, y equals, always use brackets when you substitute, so 1 squared plus 1, so we get 1 plus 1, so we get 2, so we get 2 here, and then we're going to do for 3, so when x equals 3, so we're going to say y, again always use brackets, plus 3, and that gives me 9 plus 3, which is 12. So we get 12 here. Now we're going to plot the coordinates. So we want -3 and +6, -3 on x, +6 on y. Then we're going to do -2 on x, 2 on y, -1 on x, and 0 for y. 0, 0. Then we're going to get 1 and 2. Then we're going to get 2 and 6. Then we're going to get 3 and 12. Now we can draw our curve, and remember, it needs to be a smooth curve. And don't forget to label your graph.